Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a crazy few days for Tenet shareholders. Pretty exciting stuff going on. I think we saw a little bit of buying kind of start last week. Maybe some people were starting to load up a little bit in anticipation of earnings and the Form 7 report, which we just got yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't do a video yesterday, just pretty busy with work. But I'm glad I held off because we got a news release today too. So it was a pretty interesting one. Basically Tenet came out, said no material news to report, which is true, and I'd say a little bit not true as well. Obviously, they didn't come out with a news release, but the Form 7 did contain some pretty interesting nuggets that people really took a hold of today, causing the price to surge up. So as we can see here, over the last 5 days, we're up about 50% as people are getting a little bit excited again. Market's been pretty decent. CPI is coming out tomorrow. Market did pull back today where people are, maybe a little bit worried about that number. But as long as it comes in pretty good, market should stay pretty strong here. 49.62% over the last 5 days, with the biggest move happening today. I read the Form 7 last night and I thought it was going to be good, but I didn't think it would be this good for the market. The amount of information that they put in there, it really, charged everybody up, I think, again, and just kind of reminded everybody what's going on. I did have, my own kind of numbers for these quarterly for this upcoming quarter, and I was thinking somewhere, 30-40 million. I wasn't super optimistic. I thought 40 would be a good number. And after reading this, I might actually consider 40 as kind of my low. I could see us now, basically, we could be looking at maybe into the 40-50 range again. I'd be really surprised and really stoked if we were over 50. That would be a huge beat in my books, just based on everything that's gone on. But let's go read this thing and let's get into it. So basically, they stated here business was actually sent. So basically, they said business was essentially back to normal in China in July after some lingering effects of the impact of COVID-19. So basically, they saw an uptick in July as businesses try to make up for it, which is in line with what they've talked about in the past. But while its Chinese operations were getting back on track, the preparations really after the launch of the Canadian segment of the hub kicked into high gear during the period. And I think this is where it got people pretty excited too. So while China's, some positive momentum in China for July is good for the earnings. Really, as we get close to the end of the year, it's all about this Canadian business hub, right? And this is really exciting stuff that we get to read in here. So, basically, pre-registrations for SMEs and lending financial institutions ahead of the launch, they stated, continue to go well. It was slow to start for new hires, but they were able to get a record number of new employees, and they're now up to 60 in Canada, which is actually a pretty huge number. They do want to be at 100 by the time of the launch, and they believe it's well within reach. They also said that we will get we will get an official launch timeline here within a few days of filing this report, which is hopefully we're either going to get this in a news release prior to Q2 or even with Q2. Missing that, I think that'd be something good to throw in there if they can't get it out in time. But as far as the Canadian launch goes, what they've put in here and what they've said in the past and where I'm kind of thinking about it now and my thoughts are, we've heard them state they want to get revenues in this year. I don't think that these guys are planning on crawling out of here. They're not walking. They want to hit the ground running. They're going to have 100 employees. they're making partnerships, they're signing up companies ahead of time. They're making sure that they have all the pieces in place, so when this thing launches, they are rolling. So they had Golden here in Canada for 3 months, it says, helping to prepare the Chinese segment of the hub to be linked to the Canadian segment. So they've designated 4 senior level management, 2 in Canada and 2 in China, to make sure that the business and networking opportunities expect to be created when the 2 segments of the hub are linked are well understood by hub members both in China and Canada. So they are not fooling around. Golden is heading back to help oversee the China to make sure that that part is well in hand as well. So there's no issues on either side. And the executive management believes that the launch of the Canadian segment of the business hub will be a major turning point for the issuer in several respects. That belief is also shared by the president of the Asia Pacific Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, APSASME, who met with the issuer CEO during the period to discuss a strategic alliance between APSASME and the issuer. Say that 3 times fast. The terms of the proposed alliance are still being discussed as of the date of this report. So this is where I kind of get a chuckle, because they kind of came out and they said, hey, this isn't material news. There's no material news that we know of that would cause this. However, this is the first time that the company's come out and said, like straightforwardly, hey, we're talking with these guys. So we'll have a look at their website and what kind of they do and what they have going on, and we'll discuss that here in a little bit. But shout out to the Pioneering Market guys. You know, they do a lot of digging and stuff like that, and some deep due diligence. Like, they had kind of called this out back in May, so shout out to Mike there for finding that ahead of time. But this is the first time that we're really seeing this from Tenet. So, you know, no material news, slight material news, call it what it is. Also, the issuer's management also spent time during the period on preparing for the filing of the financial results for the second quarter of 2022 and finalizing the terms of upcoming prospectus financing offering. The management expects to file a prospectus with the provincial regulator within days of the filing of the monthly progress report. So, kind of on par with what we heard last month. So, we'll see what happens there. It is what it is. So, anyways, scrolling down here just to close off this Form 7 before we go look at the APSASME website. They stated they're hiring, which we know that. There were some warrants exercised, which is good to see. So the total share count is ever creeping slowly towards an even 100 million outstanding, but a decent amount of warrants exercised for a decent amount of money in the coffers. So that's good to see. I would say this is a fairly big deal. They possibly could have put out a news release on it, but since nothing's official, they can't really. Yeah, I mean, until a partnership's actually established, it is just talks, right? So it's not truly material, but it's still the first time we've heard for the company exactly. So what is APASME? So basically, what they call it is they call it a platform. So it's a networking kind of platform to build connections for Asia Pacific region to Canada. They've got a pretty good sized team for board of directors, advisory board, and the committee. This fellow here, Mr. Kelvin Moe, is the president who Johnson's been talking to. But basically, what they offer is not a Tenet-like offering. So Tenet is, they're Fintech. They're gathering data. They're offering business insights. There's going to be like an advertising. Like, they're building an actual software platform for connecting SMEs and enterprises between Canada and China. So these guys are more of like a business communication platform, right? So partnerships with government representatives and business leaders, networking events, basically knowledge sharing, update business information, e-commerce, be included in our membership directory, obtain cross-border M&A opportunities. So it's going to be a very good partnership, I think, because it's going to kind of open up a few doors for Tenet and give them access to maybe some companies and some relationships that they didn't have in the past, and be a net gain for building the Canadian hub off of, right? So if they could get full integration with these guys, or if maybe you become a member, like a full-on member with these guys, you all can also join the Cubular Business Hub as well, right? That would be pretty cool if that kind of played out. So last thing I kind of want to say here about the Canadian Business Hub is Johnson & Golden obviously have a very strong vision. They say this about a few times about what they want this to be, and then they're super excited to share it with us. I really think when this thing launches, like they plan on being full bore out the gate, getting people using the platform, offering value add services to everyone on there, and really out of the gate they want to just blow this thing out of the water. Like, this is the kind of company that again is proven that it's an exciting one to be in, it's an exciting one to follow the story and kind of be a part of as a shareholder and support them along the way for exciting times ahead. So anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Definitely been a little bit slow on getting videos out these days. Not as often as I used to, but it's just kind of the way it's got to go with my new job. But anyways, I appreciate everyone listening, and I look forward to doing more in the future. I want to get one out, kind of a pre-earnings discussion on Tenet, and then I also will end up covering the earnings as well. So I'll figure that out, and I'll make sure I do that for everybody. So again, appreciate everyone. Have yourselves a good night, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe.